I used to make as much as $170,000 a year as a pharmacist, specifically a pharmacy manager. When I bought my very first rental, I thought the safe move was putting as much cash into the deal as possible. So I went ahead and put $40,000 down. Later, I realized that based on how I intended to use the property and my strategy, I actually might have qualified for a different loan structure, closer to around $20,000 down. That $20,000 did not disappear though, it just became equity. But it also stopped being available for my next deal, like my reserves or problems I didn't realize were going to be coming as a landlord. And since then, I've bought more than 5 Airbnbs under $250,000. And if I had to start over, I would do things a lot differently. The first mistake was thinking that like a high salary was the same as freedom, first of all. So pharmacy was not the enemy. It gave me stability. It taught me how to take care of people, and the income helped me buy real estate. So my salary was used to buy more homes. But every dollar still depended on me showing up for another shift. If I stopped working, the income stopped too. And I wish I'd defined like what freedom meant to me sooner. But for me, it wasn't just like making a lot of money as a pharmacy manager, working more shifts. It was having more control over my time and building something that could still work when I wasn't physically standing in the pharmacy. The second mistake was believing that any real estate would move me towards that goal. And my first long-term rentals made around $100 to $300 per month, and there wasn't anything wrong with that. They're still really stable investments, but I was trying to replace a 6-figure income, and at that pace, the math pretty much didn't match up. I was asking a property to do a job it was never designed to do. Like this $100, $300 wasn't going to help me retire instantly. But before you buy anything, decide what you actually need to accomplish, what you actually need your property to accomplish. Is the goal appreciation? Is it like stable long-term income? Is it a place for you to actually use or live in or vacation to? And is the cash flow that comes from the house going to be meaningful enough to buy back your time? The third mistake was actually confusing safe with put the most money down. And this is what happened with the extra $40,000 in my first deal. I'm not saying that everyone should use the same loan or put less money down, but the financing has to match your real intended use, the lender's rules, the payment, and your own reserves. And the lesson is to ask a better question before closing, like how much cash does this deal need and how much cash needs to stay outside the deal so I can survive problems and still moving it, because you still need money for reserves for things that break. The fourth mistake was thinking a cheap house was automatically a good opportunity. A low purchase price helps, but cheap isn't the same thing as like demand. What changed for me with rural Airbnb specifically was learning to start with the market first and the guests next. Why are people traveling there? Who are they bringing? How long are they staying? What would make them choose this house over all the other Airbnbs out there? This house still matters, but the right house in the wrong market is still the wrong deal. And design isn't just decoration. Design is part of like marketing, like social media. What looks good? Yeah, that's what people click on. It affects whether someone stops scrolling, whether a group can actually fit comfortably in a house, and whether the experience matches what the listing promises. And if you want the exact process I use to find and underwrite deals, the free Rural Airbnb mini course is actually in the first link below in the description. So feel free to do with whatever you want with that info. The fifth mistake was thinking that owning the property would make the income passive. That was a huge misconception that I thought when I was starting off. It did not. Someone still has to manage cleaners, local handyman, smart locks, guests, messaging, pricing, supplies, maintenance, and all the little problems that show up after a launch. And the goal is not like zero work. The goal is less guessing. But deal one should essentially help you build the machine. The next deal should help you succeed, first of all, but also feel lighter, because the market logic, your buy box, your design standards, your vendor path, your launch checklist already exists. Like this is not stuff you have to make again. And those mistakes eventually become the system I use now, the rural method. Rural, R, right market first, U, under budget, room for everyone, A, aesthetics that win the scroll, and lastly, leverage through systems, AI and all that stuff, software. And if I had followed that order earlier in my career, I would have protected more cash, avoided years of unnecessary waiting, and built a repeatable operation sooner. So if you're trying to buy your first property, don't just ask whether you can close a deal. That's a horrible way to operate. Ask whether the deal actually fits the life you're trying to build. Like define what your goals are. The free rural mini course is the first link below, and if you want to see the numbers behind one real property with what, and And if you want to see the numbers behind one real property, watch my video about the $170,000 home that did $70,000 next.